invite Jeff Lee from Podium to offer the invitation and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Bow your heads, please. Father, we come to you today thankful for your love, for your mercy, and for your grace. Lord, even when we are far from you, we know that you are seeking to be near to us. Father, this club is filled with women and men who know the teachings of Matthew 25, that when we do for the least of your brothers and sisters, we do for you. And when we fail to do for the least of your brothers and sisters, we fail to you to do for you. Father, this club exists so that we can please you and continue to provide for all of your brothers and sisters, including the least of these. I ask that you continue to bless the members of this club so that we may multiply your blessings and deliver them to all of your brothers and sisters. Father, my prayer is that if this club were ever divided by you at any time, our members would only be on the right and no Kiwanis would be on the left. Father, thank you for making the ultimate sacrifice for us, for doing all the hard work, the heavy lifting, and for giving us the promise and commitment that all that is left for us to do is to seek a relationship with you and to love you with all of our heart, mind, and soul, and to love our neighbors, all of them. Father, bless those who prepared this meal, and bless this meal so that it may prepare us. Lastly, Father, I ask you that you continue to bless our speaker and his family, and that you continuously wrap your arms around his son and all the service members like him who are deployed in harm's way. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Jeff, for that invitation. I'd now like to invite Club Secretary J.W. Carter to come up for announcements and introductions of guests. J.W.
Thank you, President Scott. So coming up, I don't think we're going to play the video, but we've got a great event coming up, and I'm looking at the people who are involved in the event, Brooke Foles and Laura Fiveash, and it's a documentary, Normal Isn't Real, that was actually made by Kay Kormeyer, her sister, and it is coming up, and remind me of the date. This Thursday, out at Spring Valley. It's a terrific event. You're going to learn a lot about the great work that Spring Valley School does, and you're going to learn a lot based on this documentary. So please come out this Thursday evening. One small step, you can learn more at WBHM.org. They are seeking some participants in this. Chuck Holmes, of course, is over there and running that, and it's a terrific organization. I did StoryCorps with my mom this past couple months ago. I think we were the first ones up, and I've never spoken to my mom, I think, consecutively for 45 minutes without distraction, and it was a phenomenal experience. So please go to WBHM.org to learn more and sign up. Want to congratulate Virginia on the national championship. And obviously congratulate Auburn for their run in the tournament. Bruce Pearl and his team were incredibly classy throughout, and of course in defeat, as we would expect from a Boston College alum. And just appreciate them being so classy, so those of us who were rooting for Auburn don't have to be. But yeah, just a tremendous run for them, and a credit to the state, but also congratulations to Virginia. It was a heck of a game last night. And then otherwise, just want to say, this year at the Ed Foundation, we have already reached 2,800 family members, door knocking, phone calls, focus groups, talking to them about what they want for their kids, what they desire for them, what needs they have. That is a very time-consuming, painstaking process that's very expensive as well if you want to get it right. But getting that valuable information of those 2,800 families is important, and there's more to do. And 0% of that would have been possible without Regions, who help fund that work and support that work in multiple different ways. I'm looking at Scott Russell, who's our board member of the Ed Foundation, and just want to take an opportunity to thank Regions for that important work and more to come. So thank you for that. We, as expected, we have a ton of guests today, so we're not going to introduce everyone by name, but in a second I'm going to ask you if you are a host and a guest to stand up so we can recognize you. But I also want to give special recognition to all of the Regions employees who are today. Thank you so much. Whether you're a member, whether you're a guest, thank you so much for being here today. If you are a guest or a host, please stand up so we can welcome you. Thank you so much for coming, and I turn it back over to President Scott.
All right, thanks, JW. Welcome to all of our guests here today. Hey, one note, just a reminder, our tornado relief efforts for Lee County. We have raised about $1,600 so far. Remember, we had hoped to raise about $10,000, so we're not going to beat that drum anymore, but would love to try and get to $2,000 by the end of the day today. So if you are considering a gift, please make that gift today. You can call Gail in the office and they'll take care of you. And otherwise, we'll close it down and we'll send some money off to Lee County and make sure all those people are taken care of. And thanks to all who have given so far. So yes, this is one of my favorite weeks in sports. Kip Porter, congratulations. I echo JW's remarks. So what a game, what a run for the Cavaliers. Lose the 16th seed last year and win it all this year. So well done. And of course, it's Masters Week, right? You know springtime's here when it's Masters Week. So always one of my favorite times of the year. So another great crowd here today to hear from John Turner. I'm really looking forward to it. And again, thanks to all of his teammates for being here. I'm especially pleased to have my friend Leroy up here. Good to have you here today. I'm also pleased to announce, and this is really exciting, that Regions has agreed to contribute another $100,000 to the Kiwanis Centennial Park project. Thanks to all of you from Regions for all that you do every day in the community for helping make a difference. Okay, now as we say, new members are the lifeblood of our club, and we have another new member introduction today. I'd like to call Mary O'Neill to the podium to introduce Dee Dee Mathis. Mary?
Thanks, President Scott. And good afternoon, fellow Kiwanians, and welcome, distinguished guests. I'm honored to be up here today to introduce a new member whose membership was sponsored by both Scott Adams, myself, and Jonathan Porter. Dee Dee Mathis is the Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing at Bruno Events, and she will be the newest member of the biggest and best Kiwanis club in the world. Dee Dee is responsible for corporate development and sponsorship for the World Games 2021, which we heard about here last year from Dee Dee, what's his name? DJ. I was going to say Dee Dee Mathis, but DJ Mathis. It's fitting that Regions is here today because Regions is one of the title sponsors for the World Games. And Dee Dee is responsible for corporate sponsorship. Dee Dee's also working on the Regions Tradition, which comes up on May 8th here in Birmingham. When she's not working on the World Games, she oversees the marketing division and ticketing division of Bruno Events. Prior to joining Bruno Events, she was the vice president of digital sales for Community Newspaper Holdings, one of the top publishers of local news in the United States. She spent 11 years at al.com leading a team of digital media marketing executives. She received her bachelor's in marketing from the University of Alabama. She's married to Ed Mathis and has a son, Adam, a stepson, Adam, and a stepson, Evan. Evan played football at Alabama and for the Broncos when they won the Super Bowl 50 against my beloved Cam Newton's Panthers. So far, that was her favorite sporting event. Please welcome Dee Dee Mathis.
Thanks, Mary, and welcome, Dee Dee. We hope you quickly get engaged in one of our committees so we can get you fully assimilated in the club. So welcome. All right, let's get going to our introduction, our program and introduction to the head table. So Rick Swagler, EVP, Head of Corporate Communications, Regions, Kiwanis since 2018. Mary O'Neill, who you just heard from, Attorney, Ogletree Deacons, Kiwanis since 2016. Dee Dee Mathis, new member just introduced by Mary. J.W. Carpenter, Executive Director of Birmingham Education Foundation, Kiwanis since 2013. Jeff Lee, thanks Jeff for your invocation, Deputy General Counsel, Regions, Kiwanis since 2003. Get this region thing going. Leroy Abrahams, EVP and Head of Community Affairs, Regions, Kiwanis since 2015. Leroy has the honor of introducing our speaker. Please join me in recognizing the head table.
Good afternoon. It's a special honor for me today to be before a group of business leaders and have the privilege of introducing John Turner, the President and CEO of Regions Bank. I'm betting that many of you have probably already met John, and most others have probably read about him in all the various interviews that he's been doing over the past few weeks. But for those of you who have not, I want to briefly summarize his bio, and then I'm going to add a few comments that would not be in the bio. Hopefully that's okay. Depends on what you say. No pressure. John was named CEO of Regions in July of 2018, and the board added the title of president in December of the same year. Since joining Regions in 2011, John held positions as head of the corporate bank and president of the South region, which included Alabama, Mississippi, South Louisiana, and the Florida Panhandle. And before joining Regions, John held senior leadership positions at Whitney National Bank, based in New Orleans, and was named the president of that company in 2008. And prior to his time at Whitney, John held leadership positions at AmSouth Bank in consumer and in commercial banking. John's a graduate of the University of Georgia, bachelor's degree in economics, and he's been actively engaged in many nonprofits, both in Mobile and other places he's lived, and also obviously in Birmingham. Some of which are the Public Affairs Research Council of Alabama, the A+ Education Foundation, and the Infirmary Health System Board. John is also a graduate of Leadership Alabama and a former board member of Leadership Mobile. Now that's what you can read in the press today, but let me predict what you're going to be reading upon the announcement of John's retirement. And for the record, I am not predicting the date of John. I'm merely pointing out that all of us are going to retire, and I assume that John will be joining that at some point in his career, hopefully not anytime soon. Now, before I predict, I need to read this to you. The comments I'm about to make are forward-looking statements. These statements are not guarantees of the future behavior and decisions of our CEO, and undue reliance should not be placed upon them. Such forward-looking statements necessarily involve known and unknown risks and uncertainties, which may cause actual behavior and decisions to differ materially from projections. So I'm almost done, I promise. 7 things I'm going to predict, right? John's bankers who work for him will say these things. Number 1, John was focused on performance, but his passion was around 3 C's: customers, culture, and community. All 3 were made better by his leadership. He constantly encouraged his team to make banking easier for customers. He was relentless about building and maintaining a culture of inclusion, and he was committed to the idea of growing your community helps you to grow your bank. Number 2, he was concerned about making the numbers, but more concerned about how the numbers were made. Number 3, he was less excited about short-term wins and much more interested in long-term sustainable and repeatable results. Number 4, they'll say that John created a sense of urgency about acting on the things that are in our control without creating a sense of anxiety about the things that are not within our control. Number 5, his bankers will say that he was interested in listening to everyone's opinion, but in the end he made fact-based decisions, and he was not afraid to make the tough call. Number 6, he's an accessible leader who made time for people and was genuinely interested in what everyone was doing. And finally, number 7, his bankers will say that he never seemed uncomfortable in any setting. He found a way to relate to everyone who came across his path. So now, these may be forward-looking statements, but I can assure you that they are grounded in the reality of the present. So please join me in welcoming to the podium the President and CEO of Regions Bank, and hopefully my boss for a long time.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be here today representing all the associates from Regions who are here with us. It's a pleasure to share with you some of my thoughts about Regions. And Leroy, you can go with me and introduce me anywhere you want. I thought I'd spend a little time today just talking a bit about the company profile, then our view of the current operating environment, share with you some about our strategy and our plans, and then end with investments that we're making in our company, in our community, and our associates. We should have ample time for questions when we're done, and I'm happy to answer those. And if I can't, I'm joined by lots of Regions associates who I think can help me. The company is now over 167 years old. In fact, we're just completing a history book of Regions. We're the combination of 100 banks, beginning with, in 1971, the formation of First Alabama, which was the Exchange Security Bank here in Birmingham, the First National Bank of Huntsville, and the First National Bank of Montgomery. Today, we're the 16th largest bank in the country. We operate in 15 states. We're about $126 billion in size. We employ about 20,000 people. We have over 4.5 million customers that we serve across lots of different businesses. We've been, I think, particularly over the last few years, we're beginning to hit our stride and had a lot of success. We've increased our dividend payout ratio over the last 5 years by 100%. We've grown net income by 55%. You can particularly see the benefits we've enjoyed from rising interest rates and tax reform, most recently in 2018. We've been increasing our dividend. Dividend payout per share has risen from 23 cents to 46 cents, and as of the first quarter of 2018, it's 56 cents per share, so a compound annual growth rate of better than 26% over that period of time. Our priorities for capital are to support our organic growth, and we've enjoyed some of that, particularly more recently. We want to pay a consistent and sustainable dividend of somewhere between 35 and 45% of our earnings. We're interested in adding capabilities and capacity. I may get a question later about bank M&A. It's certainly been a topic. We are interested in bank M&A, but I would say today more focused on our plan. We don't think the economic conditions are right for us to participate in bank M&A. Frankly, we think our plan produces a better outcome. We have been active buying non-banks. We bought an M&A advisory firm. We acquired a low-income housing tax credit originator. We're buying mortgage servicing rights, doing things to expand our capabilities, and we'll continue to do that. And finally, if we don't have a use for capital, we'll return it to our shareholders through share repurchases. And in fact, over the last 3 years, we've returned, inclusive of dividends, about $5.4 billion to our shareholders. The result of that is that we've generated a total shareholder return over the last 3 years of 72% for our shareholders, placing us third amongst our peer group. And we think that this is the result of a lot of good focus on fundamentals, just improving the way that we operate, improving our execution, again, returning capital to our shareholders that we couldn't use. And then, as well, I think we believe that we're really well positioned for the future. When we look at the current environment that we're in, I think it's an interesting time. As I travel across our footprint, and I've probably been in 10 different markets in the last, I'd say 9 or 10 weeks. I meet with customers. What I hear from them is that 2018 was maybe the best year that they had. It's certainly a very good year for every business owner I talk to. I've yet to find one, and I've probably met with 50 business owners. I've yet to find a single one who's not optimistic about 2019. Our own opinion is that the economy will likely grow at about 2% in 2019. A little less than 2% maybe in 2020, but we don't see anything on the horizon that would indicate to us that a recession is in any way imminent. Having said that, the credit quality is as good as it's ever been, both in our consumer portfolio and our commercial book, but we know that can't continue, so we have to think about how do we build a business for what will ultimately be the normalization of credit and the eventuality of some sort of recession. So we talk a lot about resiliency. Technology is an issue that all bankers have to address today. Our largest competitors, particularly the money center banks, are investing tremendous amounts of money in technology. In fact, we'll invest $625 million in technology in 2019. By contrast, JP Morgan Chase will invest over $11 billion in technology. So we often get the question, well, how do you keep up? How can you possibly have the scale to compete with the larger banks? We think we do, and we'll talk a bit about that. We're also feeling a lot of pressure from non-banks, from financial technology companies who are challenging our very business model. And again, our focus and our belief is that the business will continue to be a relationship business, and as long as we execute our plan, we can be successful. And then you hear a lot about the regulatory environment easing, and in fact it is, I would say, moderating. Our own view is that regulation is going to shift from, let's say, the law to the examination process. Expectations really are not going to be any less regulatory, if you will. We think that the regulatory environment will still be fairly strict and stringent. So as we think about our plans in this environment, we want to lean into our strengths. We would say that our business model is pretty simple. We don't have a really complex platform, and we believe that if we remain committed to continuous improvement, we continue to invest in innovation and technology, that we can make investments in people and in capabilities, that we can have a lot of success, and believe we're positioned to do just that in the future. So our business, we think, is still a relationship business. We would argue that while technology is certainly important, that our business is still about bankers who are enabled with really good technology, building trusting relationships with customers based upon the unique ideas and solutions that they provide. And we operate a number of businesses that are national in scale, but our focus is on our footprint, on doing things, building relationships within our states. We think about our unique strengths: customer service, the way that we work together, the culture that we have of what we call shared value, and I'll talk a bit about that, and Regions 360, the way that we team together, and the markets that we serve. Often, we all believe differentiate Regions from our competition. We made a tremendous investment in building a risk culture and infrastructure post-Great Recession, and we think the combination of those things positions the company to do well. Customer service is a hallmark of our business. We are consistently recognized with awards from third parties for the quality of our customer service, and I like to say we're rewarded for the good work that we do with very loyal, long-term relationships and growth in our business. Our customers increasingly are expecting speed, convenience, and reliability, and they're banking with us lots of different ways. We think about our channels in this way. A customer can bank with us in a branch. They can bank with us using a mobile application, using online banking, using an ATM, or the call center. So there are 5 basic channels we think about as how we interact with the customer. Today, over 60% of our customers use multiple channels. And in fact, we'll have 400 million logins to mobile banking, 300 million logins to our online platform. We'll do 100 million transactions in our branches, about 80 million calls to our call center, and 75 million transactions through our roughly 1,900 ATMs. And the customer expects the same great experience, whether they're at an ATM or a branch, or they log into mobile banking. So technology is increasingly important if we're going to deliver the same great experience to our customers across all those channels. And this is where the question of scale comes in. We think that we are making an appropriate investment. I mentioned $625 million of investment in technology. 42% of that would be around new capabilities, new offerings for our customers. We think combine that with the quality of people that we're hiring to work in our technology business, the speed with which we can make decisions, we think we can be very, very competitive. Our culture is one that's shared. We all believe in the mission of serving customers and making life better. We believe in a concept we call shared value, and that is that business is done well when all parties benefit. Our customers, our shareholders, our communities, and our associates. We share this belief that in honesty and integrity is the foundation of our business, and that trust is earned and shared by all, and it can be lost awfully quickly. And so we cherish the trust that we share with our customers. Our go-to-market strategy is built around local bankers working in communities, and we combine industry and product expertise with those local bankers, and we think the way that we do that, the way that our teams work together, truly differentiates us from our competitors. And so we're focused on how do we continually recruit, retain, motivate, coach, and develop talent, because at the end of the day, our business is still very much, we believe, a people business. We're in some great markets. I mentioned, I think we operate in 15 states. 86% of our deposits, which is the real raw material of our business, are in 7 southeastern states: Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Georgia, Tennessee, and Arkansas. About 70% of our deposits are in markets where we have top 5 market share or better, and 70% of our deposits are in markets, just coincidentally, where we don't have a large money center bank competitor. We're the largest bank headquartered in the Gulf South, and for those of you that can think back about how Regions was formed, Regions and AmSouth came together, we're Deposit Guarantee in Mississippi, we're obviously Regions and AmSouth in Alabama, we're the first American Union Planners in Tennessee. That really brings the core of that deposit base and customer base together. It's very granular, it's very loyal, and it is a thing that provides the greatest amount of value when you think about our company and our future. We're also in some really good markets, some great growth markets. So about 42% roughly of all new jobs created in the U.S. were created in our footprint. 51% of all the population growth in the United States was created in our footprint. Roughly 35% of the U.S. gross domestic product is in the region's markets, and 6 out of the 10 most desirable locations for retirement are in the region's markets. So again, you think about our market position, we think these core markets where we have top 5 market share combined with the growth markets, places where we're making investments like Atlanta, Orlando, and Houston, really present a nice opportunity for us. I mentioned our deposit base, and that really is the thing that it makes Regions so unique from an investment standpoint, the stability of that deposit base. Roughly 70% of our deposits are retail deposits, and approximately 60% of our deposits are held in accounts by customers who've been customers for 10 years or more. We think primacy is really important, and we believe that 93% of our consumer checking customers actually have their primary checking account with us. That's important because that means we're their primary bank. And that results in our having very granular, sort of low balance deposit accounts, which lends to the consistency and the stability of those deposits. We've been growing checking accounts at about 1.5%. Again, got to grow consumer checking accounts if you're going to have a bank that productively grows. Importantly, our low-cost deposits have been growing over the last number of years. Now, I worried when I heard the statistic that 60% of our deposits have been held in accounts that have been with us for 10 years or more, that we had an aging customer base. But the reality is that 50% of the accounts we open are for individuals who are 30 years of age or younger. And so we clearly are appealing to the younger crowd and the younger customer, and we think that bodes really, really well for our future. We've invested a lot in risk management since the Great Recession. We learned a lot of hard lessons. So maybe the biggest one was the importance of balance and diversity. We now have concentration risk policies where we think about concentrations of geography, of industry sector, of all different types. We have early warning indicators that give us a notion that we need to consider exiting certain businesses. In fact, we've been de-risking portfolios and exiting businesses. We have developed a culture that's really focused on profitability, risk, and returns. And we think that's served us really, really well as we continue to build our business. We don't need to grow for growth's sake. We talk a lot about that and the importance of client selectivity and building a business that will be consistent and sustainable over time. And we believe that, in fact, we've accomplished that. In late 2017, we announced a new strategic initiative we called Simplify and Grow. And it was really the result of looking out a few years, recognizing we would keep benefiting from rising interest rates, but sooner or later rates would stop rising, and it appears that, in fact, they have. We quit benefiting from great credit quality. Sooner or later, it would normalize and it would cost us a bit more. And that meant we had to be more efficient. We had to be more effective. Simplify and Grow was our way of describing what we thought we needed to do to begin to build a culture of continuous improvement. It's not a program. It doesn't have a beginning and an end. It's really important for us to talk internally about the need to develop this culture of always getting better. How do we make banking easier for our customers? How do we accelerate our revenue growth? And how do we become more efficient and effective by improving our processes? At the end of the day, we think that over time that we're going to have to continue to drive our costs down while still providing really good service, and that's always a challenge in order to be effective in the future. We've had a lot of success, again, focused on making banking easier, accelerating revenue growth, and improving efficiency and effectiveness. 2018 was a good year to streamline the organization, flatten the organization, eliminated some spans and layers, grew revenue, reduced expenses, made investments, and ultimately, I think, helped us build some momentum for the future. In order to be effective, though, we've got to have a really good technology program. Talk about the investments we want to make. First, we've got to continue to be focused on how do we improve the customer experience. And whether we're working on our mobile banking platform or our team is developing a consumer loan application or consumer loan process that can be completed entirely online, signed with an e-signature so a customer never has to come to the bank. Our teams have to be very, very passionate about how do we improve the customer experience through the use of technology. We also have to get better at using data and analytics, whether we're in front of a customer in a branch or we're talking to a customer on a telephone or originating a marketing campaign. How do we target our marketing efforts? This is where the bigger banks, particularly with the big credit card companies, I think are doing better than the regional banks and the small banks. It's with the way they use data and analytics to market to customers. So we've got to get better at that. We're already using artificial intelligence to improve processes. I was telling Scott at our call center today, you call, sometimes you'll get an automated voice response. It intercepted, we call that fondly Reggie, he intercepted 1.5 million calls in 2018, which had the effect of reducing or eliminating the need for 55 FTE who would have otherwise handled that call. And whether we're using artificial intelligence in in a place like the call center or using it in some of our back office processes, it will continue to be really important to us as we think about how we drive our costs down and shift resources that would have otherwise been used to answer the calls or do something else to work on customer-generating activities that we think can be important. And then finally, we'll continue to make investments in our core technology platform and in things like the cloud, which will drive our computing costs down, we think, allowing us to continue to make investments which will allow us then to compete with the larger banks and have scale. We believe importantly in investing in communities. And in 2018, we formed a charitable foundation. Leroy is leading that effort. We funded it with $100 million, and our intention was to be more purposeful about the contributions that we make. Regions will make over $11 million in charitable contributions on an annual basis, and we give to lots of things which are all very good, but we believe that our business can only be as good as the health of the communities that we serve. So it's important for us to think about how can we be more intentional to potentially impact the quality, the economic quality of the communities that we operate in. So our foundation will be focused on economic and community development, on workforce readiness, and on financial wellness. Target those areas, be more purpose-driven, and we think as a result of that, we can have a very positive impact on communities. Finally, I don't need to tell all of you this because so many people stop and tell me all the time about the importance of regions to our community, but I do think it's important to recognize sometimes, because we're very proud of it, the economic impact that the company has on the state. About $7.6 billion. We pay over $260 million in taxes on an annual basis. We'll contribute about $6.6 million to not-for-profits in this community. Our associates will give over 8,000 hours of their time to impact not-for-profits here in the community. We're fully invested in Birmingham and the state of Alabama. It's important to us, and we're proud of the investment that we make. Finally, we've done some things to invest in our associates. We did enjoy a significant benefit from tax reform. Our business is a people business, and I believe it will be for the rest of my career. We think it's important for our associates. If our associates benefit, if they're doing well, then our community is doing well also. And so we increased our starting wage to $15. We increased our 401k match. In fact, we actually, a couple years ago, went to auto enrollment, 401k auto enrollment, and auto escalation. And so our 401k match today is now 5%. Plus, for those associates who are not in our pension plan, they get a supplemental contribution. So we can now save effectively 12% for retirement, which we're awfully proud of. We didn't really have a maternity leave policy, and we went to a family leave policy at the beginning of the year, which is going to be great. In fact, over 700 Regions families who have or adopt children each year. We hired a diversity and inclusion officer to help us with how we think about diversity and inclusion. So we're doing a lot of things to invest in associates and to continue to build a culture that we can be really, really proud of. So I'll conclude just saying the company is on really solid financial footing. We think we have a very good, very simple, I often say, business plan. If we stay focused on our plan, execute our plan, we'll deliver, we think, top quartile financial results for our shareholders. In addition to that, we'll, I think, also impact the communities that we operate in a really meaningful way, which again, we think benefits our business. So I am happy to take any questions you have about the company or defer to any one of the Regions associates who are here to help me. Probably can answer better than me. Yes? Yes. We probably can actually share those with you and be happy to do that. The best one was the first one. We had 3 female associates, including including Kate Danella, who visited with Clara. Clara Green is our Diversity and Inclusion Officer, and one of the ideas Clara had was to convene these, quote, conversations with Clara, where she informally asked questions of the person she was interviewing. I happened to be the second conversation with Clara, and we also have had a conversation with Mayor Woodfin and Mayor Harrington, I think, as part of Black History Month. But it's an effort for us to get our message out about diversity and inclusion. And again, I think we probably could share that if anybody has an interest with the club. You're welcome to see it. Claire does a great job. She brings a unique perspective. She came from General Electric. We've been doing a lot of work around diversity and inclusion. We thought this was another step in helping us continue to advance our efforts to improve the quality of our workforce and make investments in our team. They were fun. I had a good time too, participating in the interview. Yeah, Bill.
John, two light questions. One, the Federal Reserve and sort of blurring the lines with the political environment now, your thoughts on that? And then, since you're in the projection business, where do you see interest rates?
Well, I'll tell you, we initially planned for an increase in June. We're not planning for that any longer. So we hope and expect interest rates will remain relatively stable for the balance of the year. I do think the politicization of the Fed and the whole conversation around interest rates is putting some pressure on the Fed. Historically, the Fed has been immune to pressure. They're probably under more pressure than they've ever felt. And with two nominees who seem to be non-traditional anyway, that may put more pressure on them. The Fed's important. The Fed's important to helping us maintain stability in the economy. We think that, as I said earlier, we think the economy is sound. Everywhere I go, everything I see, that's what we see and believe, and hope it will remain that way. Yes. Oh.
Talk a little bit about protection of data and all the customers you have and the potential threat there with these hijacking.
Yeah, great question. And people often ask me, what do I worry about? What do I lose sleep over? And top three is cybersecurity. People's first, customer second, privacy is either 2A or 3. We'll spend about 10% of that, $625, somewhere between 10 and 15% of $625 million will be on cybersecurity. We have an incredible number of attempts to get into our system. If we were watching, we have a screen out at our Group Chase Operations Center. If we were standing there watching the screen, it actually tracks these incoming attempts to get into our system. And I'm kidding you not, it would literally, you can see this, 1, 2, 3, they come about that quickly. We have billions and billions of attempts to get into our system every day. And so we're fighting that with lots of different technology and methods. We understand, I talked earlier about trust and the importance of that. Protecting our customers' information is hugely important to us. And that would be, again, on the top list of things that I worry about somebody calling me and saying we have a data breach would be a big deal. We have multiple different ways to protect ourselves. We run tests all the time. We actually hire people to try to get into our system. We do that 2 or 3 times a year. We call it red team testing. We have a great protocol. Here are all the things we do if we have breach. So we're working hard at it, but it's a huge threat. And I'll tell you the other thing is fraud. The fraud we experience more often than not lately, of any consequence, is a result of our customers' systems being in some way impeached or attacked, and then the bad guy acting to the customer as if they're someone on their team. We often see somebody impersonate the CFO, somebody impersonate the CEO because they're in their email system and they're able to do that. And we can't talk enough, and we're always happy to meet with customers and share our insights about data protection and cybersecurity because it is so prevalent in the marketplace. It's really amazing. As we make more technology available, it makes it easier and easier for the bad guys to try to get into our systems and take our money. It's the newest form of bank robbery, for sure. Yes?
I want to ask about the future of brick and mortar branches. Young people don't go into banks like their parents and grandparents. They bank with their handheld device. What are y'all doing to determine what they want in a relationship with a bank, and what are you doing to give it to them?
Well, first, we keep talking to them. I was at the University of Georgia speaking to 200 students last week, and I just for fun, I asked how many of them had a check. And wasn't anybody there had a check. Except for there were about, I don't know, there were 15 or 20 people aged 40 to 60 sitting down front. They all did. Everybody else did not. Now, I think we think brick and mortar is still relevant. And I mentioned the 5 different ways that we interact with customers. We are seeing transactions in the branches come down. We're seeing transactions at the ATM actually come down as mobile and online go up. We think branches will still be relevant. We've closed about 250 branches over the last 3 or 4 years. Over the next 3 years, we'll close 100 but open 75. And as we do that, we reposition our footprint into parts of the community where we're growing. Here in Birmingham, we have we've opened, I think, 2. We've renovated a couple. We've closed 2 for 1. We'll see branches still be very relevant, I think. See fewer of them, but they're still going to be important because customers, even young people, when they have a big life event, they want to come into a branch and talk to somebody about that life event. So now, with respect to your question about what are we doing, again, we're making investments in our mobile platform. That's where we see the greatest amount of increased customer interaction. But we want to improve all those channels so that however a customer, young or old, wants to bank with us, they feel like that we've got the latest technology. Yes?
We've had a lot of discussion about workforce in our community. What comments would you share as you see workforce needs moving forward with the kinds of goals and future that you see?
Well, the skill set's certainly changing, and we're thinking about how do we try to help our associates, particularly those that are enrolled today, adapt to the changing skill needs. I think we have an opportunity, and I've spent some time talking to the mayor very recently about his ambitions and how to impact the workforce in the community. This is our home. This is where we continue to plan to be and operate. We employ 6,000 people here. That's a lot of folks. And while I wish we didn't have any turnover, we do have turnover. And so continuing to find ways to engage with the community and ensure that we're building the kind of workforce that can take the jobs that we have in regions. We believe, again, based on some of the data we have, that our average wage is 46% higher than the average wage in the state. So it's a good place to work, good benefits. And so how do we continue to work to develop young people who, and older people who are more mature, who, like me, who have had more experience, to bring them into the workplace as well. We look for ways and opportunities to do that. It is still I will say this, and it's probably, I hope it won't surprise anybody, but we do not have a lot of trouble recruiting people in Birmingham. In fact, we have been recruiting particularly for our technology team. Some of them want to live in Atlanta because maybe that's where they are. And some of them are accustomed to working remotely, but we've recruited a lot of really talented people in Birmingham, and they like the quality of life, they like the opportunity to be here, and we want to be here. We still, while working remotely is fine, it can work. We think it's important to be together and be part of the team. Okay, well, thank you very much. I'm really honored.
Thanks, gentlemen, for sharing your vision for Regions. You all are such a huge part of our community, as you know, and we wish you nothing but success. And as they really painted it for you, what's going to happen for the future. Yeah, you got to get a copy. That's right. All right. So more good programs coming up. I hope that all of you are here today, including all the regions people. Keep coming back, okay? Next week, April 16th, their Youth of the Year Scholarship Awards program. The Priest Committee done a great job with that. Our guest speaker will be the new president of Birmingham Southern College, Daniel Coleman. Should be a great program. Wednesday, April 24th, you don't want to miss this. With the joint meeting with Rotary, the current CEO of Target, Brian Cornell. And then April 30th, Dr. Ray Watts will be here from UAB. And then on May 7th, we'll have Dr. Lisa Herring, Superintendent of the Birmingham City Schools here. So you don't want to miss any of these. Thanks for being here.